students, Ms. Fico here. I hope you are having a fabulous day. Today we are about to embark on creating your digital portfolio adventure. We're going to be doing this in two phases. The first one is going to be creating the shell of your site, and the second phase is going to be adding content to your site. So let's get started. On my screen, you can see that I have the beginning of a 21st century portfolio. You can see I have my banner that I made last week with you. I have something called a statement of purpose in the middle, and down at the bottom, I've added just a little bit more, and that's my favorite quote. So that's it for the home page. It's also known as the landing page. You can see that I have a graphics page, and I already have my haiku head on here along with my reflection. I have a writing page, which has nothing on it right now, WLHS, movies, and about me. And I have not changed that banner yet. And so you can see I've written about myself, and I also added one of my pictures that really is something that I'm very passionate about, and that is my ponds and my gardens. By the way, I hand dug those ponds myself. The big one is 3.5 feet deep, and the fish live out there all winter long, and so do the plants. Anyway, let's get started with your digital portfolio. So I'm going to go over here so that I can find my waffle. And if you could do the same thing, I want you to go and find the square, the square of 9 squares. And I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to find sites. Here's what the icon looks like. Now, your little icon might be in a different place in your menu, but that's where mine's located, and so I'm going to click on sites. Your interface should look somewhat like mine looks, and if you happen to be in something that looks a little foreign, that means that you're in classic sites. So on the left-hand side, make sure that you can find something and click on so that you're in new sites. It should look like this. Down here, I have a little spot where I could click to go back to classic sites, but that's not what we want. We want to be in new sites. Okay, get me out of the way. So let's get started. Right here, this box says blank. That's what we want. And you're going to see how blank it looks. So this is the beginning of our creating our site. So we're going to stop here for a second. There are a few things that we need to take a look at. Up at the top, it says untitled site. We're going to be changing that in just a minute, but that is actually what creates the URL that's unique to you. And the URL is what's up here in the URL resource, the URL bar. I just lost myself. Wonder what happened there. So once this gets back to where it's, there we go. So we're going to be naming that in a second. What's highlighted on the header in blue is going to be your page title. This is your page title. Okay. Right here, we have the option to change an image, and then we have different types for header sizes. On the right-hand side, we have the insert option for editing the page. New Google Sites is a drag and drop type of site, meaning I can drag any one of these layout features over to the content part of my website, and it will automatically adjust itself. There's no coding involved. That's all happening behind the scenes, but I don't want that there, so I got rid of it. You could add images here. You can embed code, or you could go to your drive and you can find things you want to insert. As I said, you have these different options right here for different layouts, and there are more options as we go down. You can even add buttons, divider bars, placeholders. You do have a lot of options with the new Google site. So we're also going to be adding pages, and I'll get to that in just a minute. And then we have something called themes. New Google Sites is very, very limited in the themes that it offers. That's one of my my strongest frustration with Google Sites is that there's not a lot of ability to make it your own. I think there are 6 different themes available, and that's it. So now I'm going to go back to Insert, and let's get started. So right here, I'm going to put my name and the word portfolio. So this is, like I said, this becomes part of your unique URL. Little trivia tidbit, URL stands for Universal Resource Locator. So the next time you're playing trivia and that comes up, you can win. All right, so we've got this named, right? You're just going to put your name and portfolio. It's actually how you are identified on the web, as I said. But if people were to search for you, that's what the search engines, the web crawlers, are going to look for. Is that right there? Is the title of your page? I'm sorry, the title of your site. We're also going to now change the image. Remember that image you made on Friday or Thursday? I'm going to click on this and I'm going to upload. Yours is actually going to be coming from your Google Drive. Mine is saved on my desktop. Find the one that you made. I made several of them. I played around after we were done with class, and I made some more. I kind of like this one. Look over here in the corner how it's making little sparkles. Well, you might have missed it, but you'll notice when you upload your own, it makes little sparkles. And what this does is Google automatically adjusts that banner for the highest readability available, meaning there'll be a high contrast for the text and the banner. Another component of this is that you can choose different header types. So right now I have mine set at banner. I want you to see what it looks like with each one of these. That cover is huge. And you know what it does? It takes away the content area. I'm not sure the point of having a huge cover, unless of course you have like this beautiful image that would work really well there. But this would not be really cool if it were on a phone, because it would take up everything that's there. So large banner, you can see it's smaller than cover, and then banner size. I'm going to recommend that we stick with banner size so that we can get the content in there. Remember, your viewers are coming here for the content, and that's the most important thing. So the very first page, known as the home page or the landing page, this one's going to be called, with your name, Ms. Fico's 21st Century Communications Portfolio. Whoopsie, folio. So I want you to put your name in there, just like I have it. Identify what this is. Remember, this is the landing page. When people come here, they'll know right away what this site is about, and that's really important. To put the word home there doesn't identify anything about what this site is about. Make sure you spell everything correctly. And I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. As you can see, it is adjusting the text so that it is all on the proper lines. And I can also see with the little squiggly red, I didn't spell portfolio correctly, so I'm going to add that in there. So that's awesome that Google Sites also will help with spelling to make sure that your spelling is done correctly. Okay. Now, as I said, we're going to be building the shell of your site first before we come back and put content on it. So I'm going to have you pop over here to Pages. And now you can see we've already got one, and its title is called Home. So we identified what the site is with the text on the home page, the landing page. So we're going to add another page. And this time we are going to call this one Graphics. Notice how it still has the same banner. It carries it over from the site, from the landing page, but it puts the title of our page on there. We're going to make a total of 4 more pages. You'll have graphics and writing. Have another one. We're going to call this WLHS. Then we're going to add another one. And this time we're going to call it Film. And then we're going to add one called About Me. This is going to be your page that explains who you are. What are your hobbies? What are your goals? Now you can see that there's an advanced arrow to click on. Don't worry about this. If you were into really deep into web design, you would maybe make a custom path to get specifically to this site um, from other sources outside the internet, outside of your site. So don't worry about that. All right. So now I have all my pages made. But let's say that you made these out of order, right? What's really cool about new Google Sites is it's very much drag and drop. So maybe I wanted my About Me to be right up here. Okay, look along the top. See how that just rearranged all the pages? But I know best design practices tell me that I keep like topics together. So graphics, writing, WLHS, and film, those are all going to be content based from the class. So I want to keep those together in my navigation. About me is, like I said, about me. And so that's kind of different than the content based pages. So I put that one last, and that's best practices in web design. You also see these three little dots next to each one of the titles of your pages. When you click on this, you have the option of doing some different things, making it your home page, duplicate the page, properties. You can make this a sub page. Sub pages are just what it says. I'm going to add a sub page just to show you. Since I clicked on film, I know you're going to be making two types of film. One will be a music video, and the other will be a psychological horror trailer. So I'm going to say done. Now take a look what happens here. This is called a tree. And so it adds another branch to my tree. So I can see I have a sub page, and I can see I have a sub page up here indicating music video. And then you could add as many sub pages as you wanted, but we really don't really have a reason to add sub pages at all to your portfolio. So I'm actually going to delete that sub page. I just wanted to show you what that is. So that's about it for the shell of this. Oops, let's go back to home. I didn't talk about theme. So the far right option is called theme. So like I said, there aren't very many in here, but you do have some ability to make some adjustments. So wherever it says at the top, like this one's called simple, that's the one I've chosen. If I click on Aristotle, you'll see that it scrunches it up a little bit more. The text looks different. I do in this one have some options for font style. If that's the theme you like the best, you can change your font style up. You can also change the color. Do you see the bar here? You can change the color of that bar, and it also changes the color of text. All you have to do is click on the paint bucket. It opens up that familiar looking color palette, just like when you were in Pixlr. So you can change that to be whatever you think would look the best. And I'm only doing this as an example, but do you see how when I'm changing the color, the bar is also changing the color? Okay. So I'm going to get out of that one. Which one am I on? Vision. Okay, so we have font styles. Again, it changes whatever you would like it to be. And again, different font styles. I'm going to click on level and see what that looks like. You can see that it goes back to a different skinny font. And again, you have options within this as well. That one's not too bad. Notice that this has a really cool little bar underneath the banner. I kind of like that. But this one is limited in what that banner color will look like. I don't see an option to change the color in this theme. So you have to kind of stick with whatever this is, whatever it's offering you right here. And then impression, you can see again, it's adding that bar, and you have options again for different fonts. And you have the option to also change the color of that bar that's in there. But again, it also changes the color of the text that you're going to be using on your site. So I'm actually going to go back to simple because that's what kind of what I like. And I kind of, well, I'm going to leave it at that color right there, and we'll see what that does. Okay, so now I've chosen my theme. I've titled my site. I've created 6 pages total, and now I'm ready to add content. So if you need to pause this right now, this tutorial right now, go get something good to drink, maybe something healthy to eat, and we'll get started with part two.